Welcome back to Boss Up. I'm Nicole Jones, your host, and on this show, we talk about how to start, grow, and sustain your business. I am so happy to have you back in this season. We're excited to share even more information on your business, wherever you are, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned entrepreneur. The whole premise is for us to give you advice so you can scale, so you to be successful, and to ultimately have you here on this show. That's the ultimate goal. So I hope within the first season, you guys got a lot of great information, at least the first season that I was here with you guys, sitting and talking with the many different amazing entrepreneurs. But the whole goal is for you to just tune in, take notes, share this with people that you know that would find this information valuable, and just be able to become the better version of yourself each and every day. As we start out this new season, the one thing that we want to focus on is being able to continue to do a lot of those things where we're sharing information to make sure you're the best in your business, but also just welcome you back and let you know that, there's even more content coming. And I also want to share a little bit more information about what we have working on here and what I've been working on behind the scenes since our last season. One of the things that I may have mentioned in our last season is essentially that I have left corporate America. Last year was my last year working in corporate America as a project manager. You might have even heard me mention on the episode with Dietrich where we're talking about operations and my background in project management. But ultimately, I have been able to leave corporate America to start my own project management operations company, the PM Suite. So if you're interested and want to learn more information about that in particular, be sure to check out the PM Suite. And, this is ultimately to help you propel in your business of operations. And a lot of the things that we talk about on this show, we talk about how to start your business, what some of those steps are based on the different guests that we have. In a lot of cases, people who are just starting out, they don't necessarily have the operations piece down to the nines, or they don't even know where to start. So that's where I come in with the PM Suite, basically allowing and sharing my information over the 10 years of project management on how you can best set up your operations, your systems. I think systems is another huge buzzword that a lot of people like to use, and they don't necessarily know what that means. So I actually help you with that process as well. Through that, what I want to share on this first episode is just some of the things that I've been able to identify, learn about myself as a new entrepreneur. One of the many things with Boss Up is basically not only just to share the many tips and tricks, but also to share my story of how I'm actually living the Boss Up mantra itself. And I will say, initially, I was excited, I was nervous, just because it was such a huge transition for myself. This is something I have never actually done before, but I've always dreamt of. So if you're someone who's in a similar position where you're like, you know what? The great resignation is upon us. I'm also feeling the itch or the bug, this is something that I've always had on my vision board across the many years of being a self-employed entrepreneur, working in my business full time, being able to hire on different people. I hope this information will be helpful to you. So, as I said, I just left corporate America, but I'm not going to claim that I know everything. I'm just learning along with you, and I'm just sharing my journey as I'm going through this process. So, I'm just going to share some of the newbie tips that I've been able to instill into my daily workflow, my process, and what I've just been able to reflect on as I've been able to go through this journey. And one of them being, don't let the hustle allow you to cave. Basically meaning you don't want to get into this mindset where as soon as you become an entrepreneur, you need to be on hustle mode. You need to put out different million products or services all at once just so you can bring in an income. That's not what you want in your business. The whole purpose of Boss Up is, in one instance, to actually share with you how to sustain your business. And in doing so, you want to set up a mean and good strategy so you can be successful all throughout your business, not just the start, because everybody's excited for you to start your business. So you have family members, you have friends who are purchasing some of your products because they're so excited for you in your transition. But you want to be able to be in a mindset and a situation where you can continue to sustain your business. So the hustle mindset, although it allowed us to get into certain doors, enter in certain rooms, it will not always sustain you. So you need to actually have a strategy in place. One of the things that I did before actually leaving corporate, I didn't quit cold turkey, and I didn't quit because the great resignation is just all of a sudden become a buzzword. This is something that I have been working on for quite some time. This is something that I have talked about with my husband, talked about with my family and friends, and this is something that I have been planning for throughout the many months and years on how to actually get to this point. This was not just a one and done situation. I didn't wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to hustle it out and make do. You have to have a strategy in place. Think about all the different things you have to take care of within your business and your home. Do you have to take care of other people in your home? Do you have dependents? Do you have to take care of the elders of your family? Or if it's just you, are you able to sustain by yourself without a constant income from a company that you would normally clock in and clock out to? If your answer is no, figure out ways that you can leverage your 9 to 5 to fund your business. You want to be able to be in a place where you have enough cushion, enough savings to support your business and your dreams, while also being able to take care of everything that you have going on at home. Sound good? Awesome. I don't want you to be in a place where, again, this buzzword of the great resignation. So a lot of people are actually willing to leave corporate just on a whim. We want to be smarter than that. Our goal is not to just continue to preach information in terms of start your business, start your business, start your business, without not having the right information to back you. So be sure you have your strategy in place. What does that look like? And not just a 1-year strategy, but what does your 2-year strategy looks like? What does your 5-year strategy look like? What does your business look like in 10 years? Who are some of the people that you need to hire? What are some of the opportunities that you need to start investing in now by leveraging the company that you work for, that they can help fund some of these opportunities? One of the things in terms of investments into educational opportunities that I would highly suggest, and something that I even leveraged during my time in corporate America, was utilizing my company to pay for educational opportunities that I saw outside of the company. Of course, most corporations provide training and different opportunities that you can do within the company. What if you find something that's outside of the corporation that still in somewhat coincides with what you're working in with your company, but you can also leverage outside with your own business? So being able to leverage that practice, ask your manager or whomever you report to and say, this is an opportunity that I think would be great for me. Is this something that you can help and support me in, whether it's the full price of investment or just half? So being able to have that funding in place will definitely help you, because in some cases you don't even have to come out of pocket, which will really be helpful to you. So there's more tips on the way. We just talked about not being in this hustle mentality, because that'll sometimes pigeonhole us, and we just need to have a strategy in place and other creative ways to find funding for your business so you can be able to leverage that for your own corporation. But we'll be right back. We're going to cut to commercial, and I'll come back with more tips.
Nothing is off limits. Nothing. You can ask me anything.
Who is Rufus? Who is that voice? Who is in the body of Rufus?
Are you kidding me? Or do I have to give that up? Rufus is me and Cardi. Cardi sometimes me. But we are the voice of Rufus. And he's coming back. He's coming back with a vengeance. He's coming back.
Stay tuned.
Don't go nowhere.
Yes.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
We've got a great topic, a serious topic that a lot of us don't talk about. So today we're talking about helping with infant loss.
Because of this process, I am an advocate for counseling, therapy, family, go get your healing. And a lot of times, in the African American community, Uh, it's becoming more popular, but I was like, this has never happened to me before. I'm going to try something new.
I'll say this, if you are a woman who is trying again after a loss, it's important that you find a provider that you're really comfortable with. And also, as Tiffany said, coupled with therapy is really going to be key in getting you through your next pregnancy.
Welcome back. Hopefully you guys took some great information from the first segment where we talked about just having that strategy in place. It's going to be widely important that you actually put that in place before you make that decision to make your leap into your own business. And also different ways that and creative ways that you can find funding to invest in your business before you actually make that leap. A few other tips that I've been able to recognize being, a month or so shy of being a full-time entrepreneur is essentially being able to listen to God's voice. During this time, I thought, again, like I was going to be in this hustle mindset where I was going to complete everything on day one of being an entrepreneur. January 3rd, I was fresh, I was ready to take on the entire world. And then leading up to that particular date, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to conquer the world on day one of as a full-time entrepreneur. I want to actually take my time, actually work through the plan and the strategy that I had already put in place, and just sit back and realize and reflect on the different things that God already had and planned for me. So one of the things that I did for the first week of entrepreneurship was basically sit back, relax, do some work when I felt like I actually wanted to actually commit to something that particular week, be intentional about the work that I wanted to actually do that week, but also listen to what God was telling me. Was the plan that I put in place, even though I knew He was a part of that process of me creating that plan, was the plan that I put in place important? Was it something that I actually needed to execute? What are some of the things He said I need to draw back on? What are some of the things I needed to continue with? So in that process, I made sure to just be reflective. Think back, remove those corporate shackles that I've had for over a decade or so, actually over a decade of being in corporate America, removing those corporate shackles and really listening to what are my next steps. I have my roadmap, I have my blueprint in front of me on what I actually want to execute. I do not have to execute everything on day one or within the first week. What is it that I actually need to release? What are some of those habits that I've picked up just being in the corporate world for so long that I actually need to get rid of? What are some of those lessons that I've learned in the corporate space that I can actually continue to leverage as I go into being a full-time entrepreneur and really just boss up? So being able to listen to God's voice within that first few weeks, literally every day. I'm not even going to say the first week, but because that first week I wanted to be so ambitious and check off all the boxes, I had to just step back and reflect on everything and the transition that I actually just made. It was a huge transition. That's not something that you take lightly in terms of leaving from corporate America to start your own business. So I wanted to be sure that I was being reflective, that I was being appreciative, that I was being intentional about the work that I had coming up. And I wanted to make sure that the people that I was going to serve shortly after, that I was prepared, that I was in the right mindset to be the best version of myself. So as you make this transition, as you are creating your plan and your strategy to make this transition as well, be sure you leave some time, some buffers, some time blocks within that strategy that you have to know, I need to take some time to be reflective. I need to take some time to practice self-care. That might be something that you have never even had time for because you're balancing the brunt of your work, your family, and the different dependencies that you have going on in life. So you want to just take that time to commit to yourself. Listen to your own thoughts. Like, what does that sound like? What does my own voice even sound like without it being my manager telling me this, or me being in a team meeting, or me being in a conference call? So just having that time to be reflective and just listen to God's voice. Which brings me to the next tip, something that I wanted to recognize was actually being present with a lot of the things that I was doing. Again, going back to being reflective on what's happening, being present in the moment. I am naturally a planner. I am in the project management field, so it's just in my nature to want to plan every single thing. So I just had to be in the moment. You see, I'm doing the woosah like look and feel, but I had to just be in the moment and be present with all the things that was happening around me, recognize the transition that I just made, understand the type of impact that I want to make to the people that I'm going to serve as my clients within my company, and just be present. It sounds simple, but it's so important, so magical when you're actually able to just sit and be in your own thoughts and just be in your own creative space. Now that I'm in this place where I no longer have to, check off the boxes or work with different people on someone else's timetable or schedule, I now have more space mentally to be prepared and be present with a lot of the things that I actually want to create, some of the things that I want to make an impact in this community, in this world, in terms of my business. So being present is going to be so important. Again, it sounds so simple, and we sometimes take it for granted just because we're always in this hustle and bustle of life. And it can, in a lot of cases, get the best of us. But when you're actually in this place of making a transition, be present. Think about all the things that you have put to the side, you've put in the back burner because you've been tending to everybody else's wants and needs. Be present in your own wants and needs and desires, because there is growth there, there is opportunity, and that's where you're going to be able to be your most creative, best version of yourself.
So what is some major hesitancies around this vaccine?
Because I ask younger people all the time, why haven't you gotten the shot? A lot of people say, well, my mom hasn't gotten it. And so I think people are impacted by the parents and whatever reasons they have for not getting it. I don't know if you heard Nicki Minaj put out information about her cousin having his testicles swollen, and of course that took off. Went viral.
Can we clarify that the vaccine did not cause his testicles to be enlarged?
None of that. I mean, we do have some risk associated with the vaccine, but the things that we hear out in the public aren't what they are.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
But that was one of my favorite moments of this season.
Oh my God.
Look, and Maria is turning red over here.
Right. He just went in on me for real. I'm like, oh my God.
Another thing that I was able to commit to in this process is actually doing a fast. I fasted leading up to me actually turning in my 2 weeks notice, because I knew this was going to be a situation where I was making the most pivotal change in my life. Scared straight, but ready and committed to make lasting opportunities and just growth within myself and with my business, and really growth within the people that were around me. I knew that this wasn't just a journey for me and me taking a leap and a step out of my normal or my comfortability zone, but this was something that was going to impact the people that are around me as well. You never know who you're impacting. Sometimes people will tell you in the most, weirdest of moments, or they'll never tell you, or moments that you don't even think is worth actually being excited about. People will say, because you shared this opportunity, because you shared your journey in that, or that stage or that phase of your life, that gave me peace, that gave me the opportunity to know that I can do that too because I knew you, or I grew up with you, or you're a family friend. So being able to fast because I knew I was making a transition that was just, or shaking my entire world. I wanted to make sure that my mind was clear, my heart was in the right place, my body was prepared, and I had the fortitude and the mental capacity to make this transition without feeling stressed or worried or concerned or nervous. I had a little nervousness. I think that's just natural nervousness of making such a huge leap. But that fast really helped clear my mind, allow me to focus on what was my why, what was my journey, what was my reason for making this type of shift, and how can I continue to be a vessel for other people in ways that I don't even know how I'm going to impact them. Again, just another lesson of being and trying to live out being a boss. What does a boss look like? What does my best version of myself look like in the future? Let me prepare for that person right now on this day so I can be amazing, so I can be great. And I think the final point that I want to come to the conclusion of sharing with you is basically some of the things I wanted to find value in when I think about my business, how I'm going to serve the people who are around me, is just creating products that come from a place of impact and not impulse. Essentially meaning I don't want to just crank out different products and services because they're simply great services and they'll bring me some cash, some quick cash, or it's going to be an easy turnaround. I want to be able to create products that actually provide impact for the people that I serve. I want to be intentional about what I'm creating. I want this to be lasting information and offerings for these people that I'm working with. I want them to, once we complete our service and our opportunity and they're successful, I want them to leave feeling like they just gained more than just an operational or project management plan, but they were also able to gain a new friend. They were also able to gain a new mindset in how they think about their business and the growth of their business and the sustainability of their business. I want them to leave thinking, why didn't I hire this person sooner? I want them to leave thinking, man, only if I knew this person before, I could have shared this with a family friend or my friends or my family to let them know this is something that you need to consider for your business as well, because it would have allowed you to continue to sustain your business. It would have allowed you to get to that next level a lot quicker. So when you think about your own products and services and how you're able to make impact in this world, which I think we're all here to do. We all feel like we're here for a purpose. We're all here. We want to share our gifts. We want to be able to, provide that to the people who are around us. Think about from a place of impact, how can I do that? How can I be a best service? It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come to you that same day. It may come to you that same day. You might get a little whispers from God telling you, you know what, this is what I want you to do. But it's going to take time. Again, going back to the first point of having that strategy in place so you know what you can actually deliver when you do make that leap from corporate America to your own business. You want to be able to create materials that is lasting and that has impact. So think that through. Even if you don't have it all right now, just write down little notes in your journal or your sticky notes or wherever you log everything on your phone, and just outline what are the ways that I can make impact into this world. Over time, be able to document that and just allow yourself to live out what are some of the ways that I can do that in my business. Think about creative ways that you can do that. Google search. Be able to look at some of your competitors and just do like a competitive analysis on, these are some of the things that I want to be able to offer to my clients as well. What are ways that I can do that, but with my own creative spin? So that was a lot. Again, I'm not going to claim that I know everything of being a full-time entrepreneur. I'm just fresh in it a month or so. And I just wanted to share some of these tips based on what I'm learning, what I'm identifying, what I'm experiencing through this process. So I want you to be great. I want you to tune in for the rest of the season because it's going to be amazing. If you love the last season of Boss Up, you will not be disappointed this season. We have even more amazing guests, even more amazing topics. And I want you to just tune in, share this information like always, because I think we're all in this place where we're wanting to have our own business. Even if you don't plan on leaving your 9 to 5, you still want to have a business on the side just to bring in passive income, this information will help you too. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue to watch me on my journey. Pray for me on this journey as I'm praying for you and providing insight to you on this show. But tune in for the rest of the season of Boss Up, and we will talk with you later.